Okay, so this isn't exactly how I want to start this video off, but Onyx's battery died again. So we're going to try to get this thing to the shop without the battery dying. So we got a jump box on it, a brand new battery, because that one actually died on the way home when the alternator went out. So let's see if we can make it. Wish me luck. All right, so I'm actually filming on my phone right now. All right, so we got 11.3 volts. We should be able to make it to the shop without issue, but let's see. Hopefully I do, because if not, I'm gonna have to call a tow truck. I think we should be fine though, so let's get this thing to the shop. Look, these people in front of me should know that I'm in a dire crisis right now, and they need to speed up. They should just know, because I drive a Mustang, and they're always broke down, or they always have problems. They should know. Just get out of my way. Well, we made it. Still got the same voltage. Luckily, I only live like literally 5 miles away from work. All right, so picking this video up a little bit later, we're in the shop now. We finally got Onyx in here, and we're gonna try to figure out what's going on with him. So Onyx's 2023 hasn't been going so well. He's actually broken down in the last 2 months, I think twice. Both times, which has been the same issue. It was actually the alternator, and the alternator went out, I don't know, maybe a month and a half ago, and it was a fairly old alternator, so I was like, well, maybe it was just time for it to go out. So I put the new one on there, and it went out, no lie, maybe 3 weeks later. But unfortunately for this alternator, I have used the warranty on it, and this is actually the second warranted alternator. It's not the first. So let me get that straight. I had the old alternator, it got warranted, that one went out, and then this one went out too. And of course, you know, they're not gonna help me replace it, so I just gotta buy a new one. Well, I'm hoping that I don't have something going on with the car. I'm hoping that it's not in the wiring or anything like that. I don't think it is. We're gonna be doing a little bit of testing on it just to make sure that it's not part of the wiring. We're also gonna make sure that the alternator's got power where it needs to, and check over all the fuses just to make sure nothing crazy is going on there. But yeah, Onyx's 2023 hasn't been going so well. That's one reason why I hadn't done an upload yet. I actually planned on uploading Monday, and I had a whole nother video planned, but unfortunately, things didn't go as planned. So let's dive into Onyx and see what we got going on here. And also, I forgot to mention it in the video, but somehow the tune on Onyx also got lost. Like, I guess the file got corrupted or something. And I've been having to redo the tune on Onyx, which is taking a little while because I'm not a professional tuner by any means, but the Holly is pretty easy to work with and not too bad to tune. Just having to go back through my VE table and everything, the timing table and stuff, that's real simple. But the VE table, that's kind of where I struggle a little bit. Still got to do some learning there. But yeah, guys, so the 2023 hasn't been very simple, but we're going to get through it. I'll tell you one thing though, guys, it is frustrating whenever you have a car, and it is a project car, and it does tend to give you issues. But I think that's really with any project car or with any build. They're going to give you issues no matter what, and sometimes you get issue after issue until you get it straightened out. And you just got to keep digging on these things, man. Like I say, they're project cars, but you just got to keep your head up, keep digging on them, and they'll treat you right eventually. Or not, and you just get really tired of them and you sell them. Like what this thing's going to be doing if it keeps giving me issues. No, I'm just kidding. It ain't going nowhere. So let's dive into this thing and make sure it's got power where it needs to and see what's going on. All right. I don't know how well you guys are going to be able to see this. I got the camera, hopefully, I mean the screen shows that it's in a good spot. What we're gonna do, we're gonna check power on our pigtail down here. All right, I got the switch on, and what you're gonna want is power on your outer with the ignition on, and that one does have power, as you can tell. And I should have power on this one, which I believe is a 12 volt constant. Okay. Yeah, so it's probably just a bad alternator, more than likely, because those, yeah, power, should be good. And this one, it shouldn't have any power because this should be a, yeah, we're good there, okay. So that narrows it down a little bit. It makes me believe that the alternator did go out, and I don't think it's gonna be any of the wiring or the fuses, because like I said, if the fuse was blown, it shouldn't have power there. So let me tell you what I think the actual culprit was. And I said it just a second ago, actually. I actually do think the culprit was this battery. I think the battery was just so weak and the alternator was trying to charge it. And it was sort of like overloading the alternator. And I think that's what might have caused it to go out. I know usually a alternator will work even with a dead battery, even if you just jump start it. And usually there's no issue. But I've had that battery in there for a while, and it's actually been giving me issues with being weak voltage and no start conditions. And I have had to jump the car off. several times. I've also had to jump the car off, like let's say if I drive to a restaurant or something, I go inside and order food to go. I could go right back out and the car wouldn't start, but you could jump it off and it would be just fine. And it was like an intermittent start, and it would drag. Just the starter would drag and it just wouldn't turn over. Like it would try to, but the motor would just barely turn over. So I honestly think the battery is actually what has been the cause of these alternator issues. I know it's possible that it could do it. I just know it's not likely. So I actually got an alternator coming. I ordered it earlier this evening and it should be here tomorrow because I'm having it overnighted. It's not offline or nothing, it was just from a parts store. And I definitely shouldn't have any issue with the amperage or anything that it's putting out, because I don't have a lot of stuff that's pulling a ton of amps on this thing other than maybe the bottle heater. But so far I hadn't had any issues with having the bottle heater on and running the car. And the factory amperage for the alternators on these are 135 amps, so I should have, although I would like to upgrade in the future to a 200 or a 300 amp alternator, just so I could add extra stuff that I may need in the future, but I don't know, we'll see. Now I've also had issues with alternators going out because you actually spin them up too fast, or you turn RPMs with them too quick, and it caused them to go out that way. Because actually the night that this went out, I was rolling in second gear. I just made a left-hand turn onto a little side street. And of course you gotta have a little bit of fun every once in a while with them. So I took and matted it in second gear like a 35-40 roll. And as soon as the car got up to like 6,500 RPMs, the voltage just dropped down to hardly nothing. It went from 13.8, 13.9 to 10 volts, just boom, just down like that. And that's another reason I think that battery was bad too, because even though the car was running and the alternator was charging it, I maybe made it 100 yards before that battery died, and it should last much longer than that. Even with the lights running at night, it still should last longer than 2.5 minutes, I believe is what I got to drive before I had to pull off the road. Speaking of issues with project cars and stuff, guys, I know it gets irritating and it gets old. You just gotta keep on digging on them. And I promise you, once you get everything straightened out, they'll make you so much happier. And of course, whenever the cars are doing good and treating you good and not having any issues, God, man, they're just so much fun to drive, and it just makes you feel good about your project. And then, of course, you'll have times like these where 2 times out of the month your car breaks down and you gotta fix it. It's just part of it, man. These cars, like I say, they're project cars, and any project car you get, you're gonna have issues with at some point in time. And as a car guy, or car girls nowadays, these cars, man, project cars are just our way to get away from it all. And see, for me, guys, my car is my therapy. A lot of the times that's the way I get away and just clear all my anxieties and stresses and stuff, is just to get on these cars or whatever kind of car you're working on and just wrench on it. It's just my way of stress relief. And other people would think, nah, working on cars is stressful, but when it's your project car or the car you love to work on, it's different, man. Especially whenever you can get in them, drive them down the road, and just cruise to some music or whatever, man. Or even without music, just kill the radio, roll the windows down and hammer it down some back roads and just listen to them horses screaming out the back. That's my kind of stress relief. But you guys let me know down in the comments what you think. You think your cars or your project cars are your stress relief? Or do they just drive you crazy? Like literally, I could be having the worst day, full of anxiety, stress, whatever from work, and then I could take and hop in Onyx after work, go down the road, just cruise down the highway, listening to some music, whether music's on or not, and it clears my head. I don't know. It's just the way it works for me. I don't know about you guys. So that's probably gonna do it for this video, guys. I know it wasn't really crazy, full of action-packed stuff or nothing, but it was just a little video that I felt like I needed to make, and also figured I'd take you along for the ride and show you how to test alternator wires. It's really not that hard. You just take a test light, ground it, and test your power to the wires. Just take and test your 2 pins, and if they have power on them, most of the time the alternator is going to be bad, or the voltage regulator or something like that is going to be bad. But pretty much just some little tips to help you guys out checking some stuff on these old Mustangs here. But if you did enjoy the content, guys, be sure to drop a thumbs up down below. Also comment. I don't care what you comment. You could just drop by to say, hey, just help me out, get my channel through the YouTube algorithms and stuff. The likes and comments, the interactions pretty much just really help get the channels through the algorithms. And so if you guys could do that, I just really appreciate it. And if you're enjoying the content you see, be sure to click the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. That way you can stay up to date with all the videos that will be coming out on Onyx here. We got a lot of stuff planned for him in the 2023 year, so we'll see if we can get it all done, just depending on if I can afford it, really. But guys, I appreciate you stopping by and watching this video, and until next time, we'll see you later.